I am Onel. I was just commentating just before for Miku's run, and now I am here to run Blinx 2, the sequel to Blinx the Time Sweeper. This came out 2 years after the first game, and you're gonna see it's gonna be looking a little different. Let's get into it.
I'm excited. I'm very excited for some Blinks too.
The biggest change at the start here is the fact that we're not actually playing as the titular Blinx the Time Sweeper as we did in the first game, but instead we're playing as a custom sweeper. And just to double check, I believe the winning name to name this Time Sweeper was indeed Oh No Mick.
Can confirm.
Okay. So, no.
They could have made this easier.
Mick. Yeah, but this here was one of the biggest selling points and design changes for the game. It's the custom character creator, where basically you can make your own character in Time Sweeper and design it however you want. And you could, oh yeah, make it just look however you want.
I will say the customization was actually pretty good, like with how you wanted to make it in this game.
Alright, we're about to begin. Are we ready to start?
Ready to start.
Okay, let us begin in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck on, don't suck.
I'll try not to. Okay. Now, as you might have seen in the first Blinx the Time Sweeper game, it was very hands-off in how it played. Aside from the first level that showed you the very basics of the game and how to play, it was just... it didn't... what's that? It didn't really tell you anything of how to progress in the game. It mostly left that down to your player's own devices. Blinx 2 is kind of the opposite and loves to handhold you through pretty much all the aspects of its game, so we've got a lot of tutorials to get through first.
And we mean a lot.
Yeah, fortunately though, we can skip them, which is something I did not know when I first started running the game. Second major thing is that the goals here is rather different. Instead of going from level to level, action platformer style, and defeating every single enemy, we've got special objectives to do in each one, because this game is a little bit more story focused than game focused. In the original Blinx the Time Sweeper, basically the story that was given is that Blinx was part of an organization known as the Time Sweepers, which is like a group of cat people who protect time, because they work in a place called the Time Factory, which is like a birthplace of time or something, and they distribute it to all the different worlds in the game. And when time goes awry, it can transform into time crystals, and then if it's not taken care of, into time monsters, which can cause the worlds to destabilize and vanish. In the first game, the villains known as the Tom-Toms break time intentionally to steal time crystals and sell them to other worlds to make a profit, but they took too many, causing lots of time monsters to appear, which is what you had to solve as Blinx. And I failed that skip.
That's alright.
In Blinx 2, the story is kind of more focused, because Benito, the leader of the TomTom gang, which is a group of bandit pigs, finds a gigantic time crystal, aptly known as the Big Crystal, and touches it, causing it to shatter. And this is cause like time everywhere, all across the universe, to start going awry. And as the Time Sweepers, our job is to find the pieces of the shattered Big Crystal and put them back together before time collapses. Here, the mission objective we've got for this stage is that we found one piece of the Big Crystal. To get there, we need to activate a helicopter to get there, so we're getting batteries from these Carrotfish here, which was the best RNG it could have gotten, but not the worst.
Yeah, it's a bit random for which boxes spawn each Carrotfish, so you kind of have to hope that you get it in a nice order, but it's not too bad.
I just use that as a safety pause to get across the bridge before the bomb explodes. Because, yeah, for each stage and each mission in each stage, you've got like one of two objectives you can decide to complete. Like, mission 1, we need to get past a barricaded door, so we could either find a key or get bombs to blow it up. For that mission, I could either find 4 small batteries from the TomToms or 2 big batteries from the Carrotfish. We always go for the Carrotfish because it's 2 less batteries to collect and they're also right next to each other. So, they're the quickest to gather. Here we have the first boss, the Stone Guardian. And this is also the reason why we play on easy mode of this game instead of normal mode. Because there is a difficulty option in this game, and if you play on easy mode, this boss only takes 2 cycles to defeat instead of 3. It's basically the exact same process, but 1 less cycles, 1 less cycle, and if it's giving it to us for free, that's giving it us for free. There's a few different mechanics as well with how each stage works. Like Blinx 1, you have like an end of level conversion, which takes all of your items and turns it into money. Thing is, this also applies to time controls. Instead of keeping them always stored with you between stages, it will take those from you as well between missions. The benefit to that is that they give you a lot of money in return. Like 100 apiece. And that's the first stage. We got a piece of the Big Crystal, and that is the first Time Sweeper stage. And
Nicely
this is... Thank you. What's going to be coming up next is the other big selling point for this game, is that we're actually now swapping sides and playing as the TomTom gang. I'm just going to auto-generate a TomTom for us to play.
Time for a donation?
Yeah, one quick one, I guess. While I get through these tutorials on how to play the
Rightio. We have $20 again from Misha, saying, "Yeah, boy, we get 2 Blinx games. Thank you for the runners and commentators for running the sequel. This donation also goes towards the Banjo Glitch exhibition."
Missed that one as well, damn. There's a tiny frame right before those 2 tutorial bits where it's indicating item that you can pause and skip before it gives that indication. It saves like a little bit of time if you grab, but it's hard to get. So basically, the story at this point is that because he touched and shattered the Big Crystal, Benito, the leader of the TomTom gang, is visiting his dreams by the daughter of the goddess of time, Mina, who he instantly becomes smitten with, and she asks him to find the pieces of the Big Crystal. And he orders his TomTom gang to go and do that. To do so, we're going to have to find pieces for a TomTom radar, so we can use it to locate the Big Crystal pieces. Now, the TomTom gang are quite different. They're focused on stealth and space controls, which is more involved in manipulating enemies in the environment, as well as using weapons instead of a time sweeper. So as you can see, instead of a sweeper, we have an item called a slingshot. Doesn't do any damage at all, and instead what it does is that it will put guard sweepers to sleep, so we can get around them. We put that guy to sleep so we can take his key and get through here. And we can get... Oh, there we go, good. Safe reels. Some time grenades and a map.
Nice. Didn't take too many attempts.
Yeah, those safe reels are random, so there's no real guaranteed spot to just hit A and get it every time. So mashing is quick, but you also got to be careful where you hit. Now, I'm just going to proceed further into the stage here. There is a lot of text boxes to get through. One of the big points of this run is that you've got to try and avoid spawning as many of those as possible, just to cut down the times where the game stops you do things. Here's one of the first skips in the run. You jump around there, that skips there, and here we are going to jump across the wall and activate the alarm intentionally. So we want that guard over to the left to spot us for a little bit of AI manipulation I'm going to try and do later. And it's also maybe a good time to talk about the money route, because just like how it works as for the time sweepers, a lot of stuff you carry is going to be converted at the end of stage into money for the TomToms, but since we don't have the ability to get time controls and get 100 gold for each bit at the end of the stage, money's a bit tight for the TomTom gang, so that's why I'm gathering all these space controls as well, because they'll be converted at the end of the entire stage. Spotted there, but okay.
Nice.
Because normally I don't need to get all these other space controls, like the banana, black hole, the warp tunnel, the subspace dive.
Yeah, I was wondering why you were grabbing those.
Yeah, it's more for just like marathon route safety. He's looking in my general direction.
You should be fine.
Yep, going through the hole there. Okay, so hopefully I did the manipulation correctly. If I did, I should have the alarm music playing. Okay, well, let's see what happens.
Hopefully the skip goes nice. With this skip, it skips one of the cutscenes. Am I correct with what you were doing
Yeah,
before?
because what I do is that when I flipped the switch and picked up these pieces here, it would have said, oh hey, that's the security switch to turn off all the lasers, and when you pick up the bag, it would have said, uh-oh, this, you're going to have to get back to the gold gate now. But since the alarm music's playing, it says, oh, well, you don't have time to watch those, the alarm's playing. And so it just skips those. And we don't really care about the guards, we just let them shoot us for a damage boost to get to the end.
Nice.
Because again, that is also a major change from Blinx 1 to Blinx 2, is that it's not a instant one-hit kill for when you get hit, you have health. which you can restore and take multiple hits with.
He grew some muscles.
Yep, well, we're gonna do some damage boosting in the one later. Okay, here is going to be one of the biggest RNG parts of the run. We are having a team fight instead of a boss. No good weapons. No good weapons at all. This is... Oh, hello. That's a bazooka there, but it's standing on top of the gate. There we go.
There we go, nice.
You start, as I said before, with a slingshot, you don't have, can't deal damage with that. So when you fight time sweepers here instead of a boss, you need to find a weapon that you can defeat the boss with. Defeat the time sweepers with. Every single item and pick up here, because that guy loves to get stuck in the terrain there. Everything that drops down there is completely random. So it can be very, very up to the game whether or not I get a good weapon to defeat the time sweepers with. So times can vary greatly there.
Yeah, so the weapons you want to grab in that section would be the bazooka, the crossbow, or even the ray gun, I would say. If that's like...
Yeah, I'd say more the sniper rifle instead of the ray gun.
Yeah, the sniper rifle, yeah.
But it's mostly the bazooka and crossbow. Bazooka is usually the best, because it does a lot of damage, it has a lot of ammo. Crossbow does more damage, but has incredibly limited ammo. And sniper rifle can one-hit enemies if you headshot them, which is not as easy as it sounds with the lock-on mechanic. And then, we just kind of stole the big crystal fragment that we got as the time sweepers in stage 1. So yeah, we're fighting, the time sweepers and the tom-toms are going to be fighting over the pieces of the big crystal.
It's a bit back and forth.
Now we're back to playing as the time sweepers. And here, now, between each stage, we have to do tutorials as rank up exams. And those are pretty much unskippable, as far as we know. If you don't do them, there's going to be an NPC standing in front of the level gate saying, hey, you need to go do the level up exam, he won't let you past. But even if you do manage to get past him, the gate to the next level won't open at all. It'll just be stuck there. So, you really need to do them.
You're also locked from using certain time controls if you don't have those badges, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, because for the first stage, you can only use pause and rewind. Here, we gained access to fast forward and slow. And when we get to the third stage, we'll be able to use record. And unfortunately, the time controls aren't really used as much in the run. They're more used only to speed up certain areas and solve puzzles. Now here, I'm gonna do a special shot. Got it.
Yeah, this is different to when I last played because we didn't go for the statue route. We went for the button route.
Yeah.
In this stage.
And here, what you need to do to open up the gate to the next area, you need to press several buttons or destroy statues. I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Ollie who found this, is that you could snipe a certain statue in a room with a specific bomb shot, and I did get that statue there, yes I did. You can snipe a statue early, and that will let you do the statue route a lot faster than the button route.
Yeah, because for some reason shooting statues opens the door to the end.
Use a rewind here early so those bombs don't blow up the bridge. There's the button to open the door here. are into the next area. Also, with the statues already done, lets us a nice little glitch of sorts. Lets us stand on this fan without having to use a time control or getting damaged. Because otherwise, without the sniping of that one statue before, there would have been another side room that we have to press a button to open up and get into to hit the statue in there. But since we got it earlier, we're already into the next area. And hey, it's Blinx himself. He presses a switch for us. He accidentally hits the wrong one. So we need to use reactive. And rewind. And here we'll be able to use probably the game's best time control here, fast forward. This is the time where we would get to first use it. What we're doing in this level is we're trying to activate the ancient warp gate right in front of us to lead us to the boss, who has the next piece of the big crystal. And here we're going to rush to the top of the pyramid to press the button to open it up. Here we get told that another time sweeper team managed to fight the TomTom gang and steal one of their big crystal pieces. That will come in relevant later. And, yep, you can skip that entire puzzle. The game wants you to use a pause there to get past that sliding door and the arrows, but you can just jump up the slope to get by it faster. Slow there to complete the puzzles. The door can open and get rid of those time monsters.
Nice, got them both. Also, if you're feeling a bit cheeky, you can actually hit yourself against those time monsters, so then the time controls can end early and the door opens faster.
Yeah, figured out the timing for that. It's just when the wall pushes out when you step forward. Normally we use the manual pause to skip that turret, but we use reactive so we can get the bullets that it shoots, because they do a lot more damage, and we can use them to kill that time monster in one hit, because normally he'll require two. He gives us a fast forward. I'm going to use that just a bit in order to jump over to that button there. Because normally what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to climb all over this area. Might have been a bit early.
Oh, you should be fine.
Ooh, yeah, just managed to get past it. For a moment I thought I picked up the cat medal. So you want to avoid the cat medals. Because
that would have been pretty funny.
Cat medals are slow to grab. Because if you do get them after each stage, you're going to have to watch them being added to your collection. And if it happens to land on top of an unlock for a little mini scene, then that wastes more time. Alright, here now we have the second boss, the giant mandrake. A little bit complex, and he's also a bit RNG as well. For two reasons. One is that when you shoot him in the mouse, he'll drop all these rewind crystals. There's a good cluster over here. Where they land is random, and I want to get as many as I can. And that's two rewinds, good. Because as soon as you get one, he'll slam the ground to destroy the rest of the crystals. So you want to go as many as you can before he does so. And the other bit of annoying part about this boss is this. Once you use a rewind, he splits into all these little onion things. And he just likes to run around rampant and not sit still. I'm not even sure if I got enough to fully damage him. Because he has a damage cap as well. There's only a certain amount of these guys I can hit before he'll instantly just turn back.
Nice,
So
you gotta
it,
pause.
yeah, that'll come in handy. And also a fast forward for some extra gold. Another 2 rewinds. That was a good drop.
The extra money.
Come here, you. That's why you want a slow or a pause in that area.
No mercy.
Just those guys just running around can be just so erratic. That's one of the just both the rewinds there and the movements of the little onion things is why that boss is very RNG sometimes, because sometimes they just won't let you touch them. And we've gotten the second piece of the big crystal for the time sweepers. That's that stage done.
How do you think you're doing on gold right now? You feel like you're in a comfortable position?
Yeah. If I follow the TomTom route, it should be alright. You don't really have to worry that much of the money for the time sweepers because you get a lot more money anyway, and they have less stuff to buy. It's more what you got to worry about what you get as the TomToms. Now, story for the next beat here is that Benito learns that his TomTom gang got ambushed and they got a piece of their big crystal stolen. He gets really angry about this and asks if anything can be done about the Time Sweeper's time controls. So he sends us off to the Destiny Ruins in order to find an item called the Time Control Neutralizer, which neutralizes time controls, so they can get a leg up on the Time Sweepers.
Now,
here, after...
Oh, sorry. You go ahead, you.
Here we get also a new item for our inventory called the Pig 32, was it? Anyway, it's a pistol that can actually damage enemies instead of sleeping dart slingshot. So now we got something to damage enemies with. I'm going to try once for a very hard trick. Didn't get it. That's basically like a 1 pixel perfect jump there. I have still yet to get that myself. I'm not going to waste too much time on it.
I didn't even know that was a skip. That's so cool.
Yeah, that was found the other day by Stimage, I believe.
Stimage, you crazy fool.
Pick up some hypercloaks there. We're not going to use them. The game wants us to use a hypercloak to turn invisible, so we have can avoid the line of sight of that guard, but we just shoot him because, you know, that's faster. Also, this stage has crumbly blocks on the ground, but since we're playing on easy mode, they don't actually ever crumble. So that's another bonus of playing on easy mode as well.
Fun fact.
I'm also making some slight detours here and there to pick up some extra money, because we're not going to need it. Lock on can be funny sometimes. Because, yeah, when you're playing as the TomToms, the time monsters just turn into money instead of time crystals.
Yeah, what's the lore behind that on?
I have no idea. Game devs said that made more sense. I don't know, ask them. Alright, now here we're going to do a little skip with a after this pushing block puzzle called the bag skip. For what we did is that we activate the branch into the next room, so we could, you know, get to the next room. However, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Wet Sweaty Legs who found this trick. Maybe him or Stimmage, one of them. That if you take the bag and put it right here, you can stand on top of it and get your double jump input eaten. Oh, gonna have to retry that. Yeah, fortunately though, if you do happen to mess up, there's checkpoints every like 3 steps in most of the levels, so you're not going to be pushed that too far back.
You also have infinite lives in this game.
And I slipped off the bag. Let me try that again. It's annoying to fail at this point because carrying bags is very slow. And this stage has the most bag carrying out of all the Tom levels. And there we go.
Oh, that's cool.
And standing on top of the bag, you gain just enough height to jump off it and get up to the next stage. And you can press that button into the wall to activate these stairs to get the bag up.
I actually had not seen that yet. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's bag skip. Then we can put the bag down there, and we finish the first mission.
Back in my day, we carried the bags like men.
Yeah, but that was slow.
Is that what it was back then?
And you still do.
Not as much.
Here we've got a larger block pushing puzzle to complete. And there's nothing much to say here, so if you've got a quick donation, you can get it out.
Don't have any new donations at the minute, but just as a quick spiel for everyone, we are Australian Speedruns. We do a group. My words this morning. I've been awake since 2:30 this morning. 2:30, not 2:30 this morning. 2:30 yesterday afternoon. We're a group doing speedrun events to raise money for charity. For this event, we're raising money for Beyond Blue, a charity working to raise awareness of mental health issues and to reduce the stigma around these issues to help achieve the best possible mental health. If you would like to donate, you can go to donate.ozspeedruns.com. That is donate.ozspeedruns.com.
Alright. And now that we're down here, I just flick that switch early to get the elevators into cycle. And we can stick right behind those guard sweepers and they won't even see us. They have terrible eyesight. Basically, they only really see in a small cone in front of them, which is like illuminated by their little headlamp. And they don't really see that much past that. Now we got a bit of a slow segment here because we're going to be carrying this bag all the way up and out of here. It'll take a little while. As I'm doing this, I'm going to try and collect as much money as I can, because we're going to be needing it later.
Unfortunately, this part's always going to be slow because you have to just carry the bag throughout this part and the beginning of the level, so you kind of just have to stick through it.
Jump up the slope, because jumping up slopes is always faster. You always go
Really?
far. Yeah, that's something I still see some of the other runners not really pay attention to. I have no idea why. It's not by much, but if you run up a slope, it will be slow. If you run down a slope, you'll gain extra speed and move just a little bit faster. So that's why you always want to jump up slopes. Because jumping up there, even like, especially when carrying a bag like this, is going to be a lot faster. Not by much, but it's actually quite noticeable.
Gotta watch out for the falling debris.
Yeah, watch out for falling rocks. Now, normally you're supposed to backtrack through that the level, go back to where that pit of time monsters was, and there's a big statue head you gotta push out of the way, and opens up that front entrance. But we can just drop down to the lower area and take another way out. The way I jumped down was where I tried to jump in at the beginning of the stage, but I didn't manage to get in there, but I managed to get out. So we got the time control neutralizer. Benito has trouble pronouncing neutralizer. And we go test it out on Team Blinx. Yes, we go and beat up Blinx himself here. And, ooh, hello, we've got a crossbow. And some ammo with. Now, this is a bit of a tricky team fight because there's a very big arena and enemies are all over. So we kind of want to sweep the area from left to right.
There's the time neutralizer coming into effect as well.
Oh, hello, there's a bazooka there. Use up the rest of my crossbow there. Also, kind of have to jump every time I want to use the bazooka, because the time sweepers have a nasty habit of jumping out of the way of your attack whenever you try to shoot at them. So you want to kind of get a higher up angle on them to make sure they don't try and dodge, because otherwise you could waste ammo. That wasn't the best, but that was still pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah.
That was under a minute.
Nice crossbow and bazooka spawn.
And yeah, we now have our hands on the time control neutralizer. And we didn't find a piece of the big crystal, but we did find a mysterious stone tablet that has some lore on it. We will try to decipher that later. Next up is probably one of the most technical stages, I'd say, in the game. The Pirate's Graveyard, because we're going to play another TomTom stage instead of going back to the Time Sweepers. This stage has had a ton of work on it recently. Just the other day, just yesterday I think, Wet Sweaty Legs and Stimmage, as well as not a runner, but like a theory crafter, game analyst, Dr. RNG. Those three managed to find the first out of bounds for this game. Because Dr. RNG managed to find a bit of an oddity with how the warp tunnel space control works. I am not going to be using that strat just now because it's only been recently found. I still have no idea how to do it yet. I'm going to use one of the other tricks that they found recently, strat called Ship Happens.
Ship happens.
That's what they
funny.
named it. So here we've found the next big crystal piece in a boss called the Icy Ton Dragon. However, none of the weapons that the TomTom gang have is strong enough to defeat it, so we're going to find a weapon that can. A tank. Here I'm going to... Oh, I was too close to the edge. I'm going to try and do a skip. I just called the TomTom 3 skip. Probably one of the oldest tricks of this game that was found by one of the first runners, Shady Underscore. What you do, you line yourself up here, jump, double jump, and you got it. That skips most of the lower ground area here, and instantly skips to this part of the stage. Now, for Ship Happens, you do is that you line yourself up on this ledge here. I am slipping off. Okay, inside this time bubble here, which has like an isolated bubble of pause. And I slipped off again. This ledge is kind of tricky to stand on. And I fell, dang it. Okay, I'll give it one more try, and I'll go back to the old strat if I keep falling.
Yeah, this is one of like the levels where all the technical stuff comes out, and you gotta really practice this because it is a bit tricky, especially with jump right.
That Tauntaun 3 jump skip was originally, before other skips were found, probably one of the hardest tricks that we had in the game. Got it.
Ooh. Ooh, that's neat. That's interesting.
First we have to go backwards though, because we need to get some time grenades, and I guess I'll just cry across the rope because I can't seem to get on top of it. Luckily there's a checkpoint here, so I don't have to go too far back if I fall into the ground again. Just going to need those for later, and we could... I hope this doesn't mean I'm dead. Okay, that's another mark of the bingo card. That has never happened before.
It's okay, you got a checkpoint though, so it's all good.
Yeah, fortunately. Because that platform of ice I was on is a little bit higher up than this ship part here, I'm able to jump across, but I can't jump to it. Which is a bit unfortunate. But,
yeah, these ropes are a bit annoying as well.
Yeah. It's faster if you can get on top of them and run across them. But, as you saw earlier, that's not exactly the easiest thing to do. And this one that I'm on right now is a bit harder to do as well. And also, it's more risky if you fail. Because, unlike the other one where you just die, go back to the checkpoint and try again. For this one, there's actual ground beneath it, so you can't instantly retry from a checkpoint. You have to redo some of the stage again, so it wastes a lot more time. Here we use a warp tunnel just to get across, and we use the time grenade to pop open that time bubble here and reveal the tank. You just go through the lasers because they just drop bombs, we can avoid them. And now, we have our tank. Unfortunately, seems to be missing a few parts. So we've got to go and collect them. It's unfortunate because now the guard sweepers have appeared in this world. We have to get around them. Now, the out of bounds that I mentioned earlier, if done correctly, it can get you down to this area of the stage before before completing most of the other objectives. So it's tricky to set up, but its potential can save a lot of time. Here though, we're just gonna take out the guard sweepers because they'll just get in the way if we just leave them be. And we go and flick off all these traps. Open up next areas and gather the tank parts. Now there's going to be one skip in particular I find really fascinating how it works and how much time it saves. I'll point out when I get to it. So we open up, excuse me, we open up the chest there to reveal the tank parts, and I'll drop a warp tunnel there and grab them and go through. In addition to moving slower, you can't double jump while carrying a bag of treasure, so you have to use a warp tunnel to get them away. Now skip here is a text box trigger that we want to jump over right here. Well, that's a very important flag just right there. when you flip it, it kind of confuses the game in a very fascinating way, because the mission end is supposed to happen right here when I pick up this bag. But since we avoided that particular flag to say get the tank parts, that skips quite a few flags, and now the game won't load a few won't load a few things, so there's quite a lot of text boxes that we skip there, just by jumping over one trigger.
Yeah, fun fact, I think I was the one who actually found that trick.
But no one knew how to replicate it.
Yeah. It sort of happened by accident, and then we kind of were just like, alright, so we'll retrace our steps and we'll see, like, what we think could have happened.
Also, there's a lot of money crates here, so I'm going to break them all open and grab all the money. This is not part of the run, but I'm just getting it all for marathon safety. That guy is
gonna be like me.
Sleeping there. So we can just flick the switch without bothering him. And now we've got our tank parts. We get an interesting dialogue here. Some other TomToms have managed to capture a time sweeper, probably no one important. And Benito doesn't really care, he just says, romance and treasure is all that important to us, and to accomplish those we need a tank. So now we fixed up the tank, and we're ready to use it on the boss. It's a brief tutorial here to tell us how to use the tank, but we can just skip it. Now...
Yeah, actually, I just realized they captured Mick, and they got the information from them.
Yeah, Benito actually tells you to... tells the TomToms to use them to keep the time sweepers off their back while you're dealing with the boss here. This is the Icy Ton Dragon. He is bit of an odd boss. He's the only boss where we use the tank on him. Got some ammo, but no sub-ammo. Unfortunate. He's a bit... You gotta be cautious when taking him on, because I did the math out of this stage, and between the ice pillars that he drops can drop random items, which can be like a main ammo pickup or a sub ammo pickup, nothing, or a bomb. And oh, got two heads at once, yes. If you don't get any ammo pickups at all from what he drops, you have only 16 shots to defeat the boss with. However, the minimum amount of shots you need to defeat the boss is 15, because you have 3 cycles, and you need 5 shots in each cycle, 4 to take out the heads, and then another 1 to damage the core. So if you don't get any ammo, you need to be very careful with your shots, because otherwise you could run out of ammo and very quickly mess up and waste a lot of time. And then we defeated the Icy Ton Dragon and collected the piece of the big crystal.
Yeah, I'm on a roll.
And Benito's having some odd dreams there. Because he touched the big crystal, Mina, who's only appeared to him in his dreams, is telling him that what he does dream about will come real. What he is dreaming about is shielded time monsters. Now we're back to the time sweepers. Here, we're going to do the next tutorial, and then we're going to do a little bit of shopping. This is telling us about the time spheres, how to sweep up a rope, and the time control record. So now we have all of our time controls. And we're going to do a bit of shopping. We're going to buy a level 2 sweeper. We're going to buy an extra retry and an ammo pack. Because a lot of the power-ups work a bit differently in this. Retries are kind of allocated per sweeper that you have. So you gotta apply them like an upgrade, and same to the ammo packs here. So, the ammo pack is kind of optional, but I get it for a certain boss later on, for safety. Now, the upgraded sweeper works a little slightly differently as it does in the first game. Upgraded sweepers usually let you sweep up bigger pieces of trash, which deal more damage. In here, it just gives you a flat damage increase with any ammo that you shoot, so it's very useful. Here, to find the piece of the big crystal, we've got to find our fourth scout and best buddy, Mick. He'll probably tell us where the big crystal piece is.
Don't skip the cutscene. You gotta do it for the boys.
I had no intention of doing so.
Oh no! Mick! Come in, operator.
We
Mick has
stand,
been captured
Mick.
by the Tom-Toms. I'm going to
He's
rescue
going to
him.
rescue our best buddy, Mick.
I mean, is he even our best buddy now? He kind of gave information to the Tom-Toms.
I don't think
call
he
him a traitor.
did. I believe they just captured him and used him as a delay so they could get the big crystal piece before we could. Anyway, we used the fast forward to go off the time monster earlier, and we've just used it to jump to the end of the stage. And there's a one small skip I can do here if I time my jumps correctly. Got it.
Yeah, for some reason jumping delays the cutscene trigger. Not sure why.
And
But it's
if
very
I
useful.
stand on that spot there, I'm able... I almost smashed past this cutscene too. But
Are you
basically...
okay? I'm
So
fine.
let's play out
Look,
first.
the Tom-Toms are heading that way. There's a huge cave at the end of the canal.
That's probably where the big crystal fragment is.
They're getting away.
What?
Go after them. I'll be okay.
Okay, hang in there.
And that was Mick.
Your character kind of looks like a big brother of Mick.
Well, I just picked one of the random choices. Anyway, that skip that I did just before kind of sets me up to hit Mick's cage and break it open before the mission objective screen pops up. Because once you complete either one of the objectives in that previous mission, it'll say, go and rescue your fellow time sweeper Mick, and that wastes a little bit of time. However, if I can get on top of that secret entrance before the cutscene of it opening up happens, I can get straight to Mick and skip it. Here, you're supposed to get to the end of the canal before several time bombs explode and flood the cave with water. However, I'm going to do a new skip found called the bridge skip, which allows us to bypass nearly the entire stage. Yes, first try.
Oh, that was cool.
That skip is a bit more complex than it looks on, because that entire upper area has like this big, flat, one-way, invisible wall there. So it lets you fall down it, but it tries to prevent you from jumping up it. Like a big old wall preventing you from getting up. And it extends out quite a distance, so we use a fast forward just to get around it, so we can get to the end of the stage early. Now here we have the Time Sweepers team fight, where we face off against the TomTom gang. Because we found that they got here first, and they took the piece of the big crystal. So we need to capture them and find out what they know and why they're trying to get the big crystal as well.
Yeah, fast forwards also boosts your damage while you're in fast forward.
Yep, and combine that with a level 2 sweeper, and you can instantly defeat all the TomToms.
Nice.
That's why I have to run in front of my team first. Nope, didn't get it.
What's Benito
Because
planning
there's
to
a
do with
slight
the big
delay
crystal?
because I use the time control there. I can quickly grab something from the stage before it ends. I tried to grab health, but it doesn't look like I was able to get it before it ended. Health's a bit more critical for the time sweepers than it is the TomToms because there's less places for you to get it and restore it. As you see, I did not manage to get it in time. So the time sweepers have learned that they're gathering the pieces of the big crystal to help Benito help out this girl in his dreams, Mina. They're really curious about that because they really don't know what that is. And now we have Time Sweepers 4, Sky Castle. This is probably one of the most broken stages in the game, aside from recently TomTom Gang 3. Because we're going to basically do this entire stage in reverse. Especially since, now after completing this tutorial, we get access to time control combos, which allows us to combine 2 time controls into 1. And we can use that to rather fascinating effects here. Now here, to get to where we found the big crystal piece, we need to activate a bridge by defeating time barrier monsters or getting rid of all the time barriers. We're going to start off by doing a skip called Bonkless.
Hey.
And we got it first try. Getting that
Nice.
much.
I also found this, by the way.
Yes, thank you. Beforehand, we used to... it was a skip originally found by Bacon Gaiden called the Octobonk skip, which involved having that octoballoon that I defeated shoot you up there. But Miku found a way just to get up there by jumping. Here we're going to have our first use of time control combo. I think that was enough. Yep. And here I'm using both a pause and a record.
Oh.
Because to defeat time barrier monsters, you need to hit them with the same color time control as their barrier. And there, by combining a pause with a record, we're able to defeat both a pause and a record monster at the same time. Here, we use a fast forward and a pause. A pause so we can defeat that time monster there, combined with a fast forward so we can get the momentum to jump across the gap. And I'm using the effects of the time barriers there to end the time controls much faster to trigger cutscenes and the like. Because they'll instantly end as soon as I destroy a barrier, but I can use that to quickly end it and trigger another one. Now that we've got all the time barriers, use a fast forward to jump over here to the start of the stage, and we've just completed mission 1 in reverse. Here, we're going to suck up a fast forward through the floor. We're not entirely sure why that's there. We believe it might have been there due to like debugging purposes, just so like someone over there can get back. But we've found out we can like suck it up through the floor, and we can use that later on in this stage to great effect. So we just wait for this trap to pass, that door to close so this one can open. And here, we need to either defeat more time barrier monsters or get gears to mesh together. Here, we're going to mesh some gears together because we are going to pull off another fancy reverse trick. First of all though, 1, 2. I'm going to use this slow and record to complete this puzzle. It's kind of a little bit trickier than you think because you need to activate both sets of switches simultaneously. 1, 2. Because some of the players of this game might just be running at that and hitting it over and over and wondering why it wasn't working. But you need to hit both of them at the same time. You might have been unsynchronized with your record. So we use the fast forward that we've got at the start of the stage there to jump to the end of the stage here. That way we can... Oh, I almost fell off the stage there. We can hit these gears here. Because beforehand we jumped on top of this little rotating wheel here to get to this part of the stage earlier. But now we can just get to this, as this here is the start of the stage. We can just hit the rest of the gears. And the door's open.
Easy peasy.
Now, use a fast forward and a pause to get up here, while also freezing everything else to prevent us from interrupting us. And we've reached the helicopter. It also has another fascinating tidbit in it. It's not like an instant walk over to this area and complete the stage icon there. You actually have to jump into the helicopter there and press A. If you don't do that, you won't complete the stage. It's a little odd, but it actually lets us complete the stage a little quicker.
Here we go. Favorite part of the game.
Now we're fighting a gigantic time monster shaped like Benito. Also, this boss has, they will have the entire screen flashing in a bit, so if you're epileptic, I'll give you a brief warning when that's going to happen. Record. Thank you.
Gotta sweep up the food. The big chicken.
Okay, epilepsy warning now, so look away. It's gonna happen again once we get taken back inside when rewinding the record. And it should be fine now. Basically, we can easily one-cycle this boss by using a record and bombs, because the bombs deal more damage to the boss, and we can easily get a free hit on it with a record. So by doing that, we only need the 2 bombs to defeat the boss real quick, and we've gotten another piece of the big crystal. Alright, now it's time for TomTom's 4. This is an interesting stage. I'm gonna try for a skip here. It's completely random whether or not it's gonna work, but if it does, it's going to save a lot of time. I'll give it a few tries. Okay, first of all, this is what I was saving up all my money for. Because for this shopping trip, we are going to buy a bazooka, so we don't have to wait for it, and we're going to buy some health extensions. Just enough. And that we've got everything we need in one shopping trip. Slap everything we have on. Okay. Now, this stage here. After hearing... Now, the story is, after hearing what happened and what the Time Sweepers did, like the shielded barrier monsters and the giant Benito, Benito himself ordered us to go over there to take a look at what's happening. And, okay, that's the first part of the skip. So they got that first try.
Ooh.
Now for the second part. Oh, no, missed me. This is tricky. And I got it!
No way.
Oh, that's excellent.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's usually only used for ILs, but that... it's completely random, both the angle and... Ooh, that's a lot of lag.
Ooh.
Oh, no, please don't.
Uh-oh.
Oh, sometimes that happens. Sometimes the gears can get stuck in a certain rotation that makes them really weird to stand on. So the game just kind of slips you off. But I can't remember who... I think that was also Stimage who found that. But basically, that skips the first part of the stage where you're supposed to... you're shown a windmill, because usually you get on that bike, you go across, but then you get blown back by the windmill's wind, and say, oh well, we've got to stop that before we get across. And with that octoballoon, we managed to damage boost our way across without encountering that, and we never get that cutscene. Now, when we're here, I just skipped the whole part. Oh, that was dumb. Luckily, that isn't too hard to do. You're supposed to go into that building there, get around, sneak past some guards, activate some switches to get over here, but we can just jump the gap. Okay, now, when I flip the switch, I've got to move quickly to gain cycle. But yeah, that skip with the damage boost before, that's basically, that skips pretty much the entire stage. It was found, one of the more newer tricks, and it was found only recently. And I'm stoked that I caught that first try, because, like I said, what the octoballoon shoots is completely random. So, that could have taken like 100 tries, and I might not have gotten it. Ooh, that might have been a bit early.
I think you're good.
Yep, it worked. Good. Just jumping over another trigger there to skip a cutscene.
Oh yeah, it did. It didn't play the cogwheel cutscene when you line them up.
Yep. That's because you jump over that one trigger to skip it. Yeah, but here, when you're getting here, the story, they found out that the time grenades work on shielded time monsters to take them out. And now that we found that out, Benito basically says, you know, while you're there, go steal the Lightstone here, the treasure of this area. It's like, why not? While we're here. So we get to the upper area to flip that switch to open it up. Or it falls back down into the area where all the guards are. So we gotta nab it. First of all though, I throw a time grenade down there to cancel all their shields.
Where'd he go?
Flip over that switch to open up the doors, then I throw another time grenade before he calls the alarm, so I can pause it and get out without being shot up. So even though I've got a lot of health, I'm saving it for something. So we're going to do another damage boost later. I want to have as much health as I can for that. And you have to specifically go to that TomTom bike and not the other one you can see just to the right there, because otherwise the game won't consider that the right one and it won't let you finish the stage, even if you go all the way back to the goal gate. So we got the flight stone, but Benito immediately says, hey, those guard sweepers have something shiny, a fancy laser ray gun. Go back there and take it. So we do. This is a bit less RNG because we've got our own bazooka now. We can easily deal damage to those guys. Although it is still beneficial if we can find a crossbow. Because that, we still need two shots to defeat the time sweepers here. Just getting some power back between the iframes because I missed a few shots.
Cheeky sweeper.
Yeah, if I had the crossbow, that'd take out those time sweepers in one hit. But that bazooka can easily do too. Now here the game takes a slight detour. We don't go to the next stages just yet, but we go to two little side stages. Here the time sweepers have found the TomTom base, but they also found there's a bunch of time sweepers there who are locked up. So we've got to free them. And the tricky part here is that there's no grab some health to be safe. There's no trash here for us to sweep up, no time crystals or anything. So instead we have to use only this hammer here. Which is a little bit trickier to use than you think. However, there is one little minor technique that we do with it. If you swing it when you're jumping in the air, you can get a much faster swing, usually, because otherwise you get that slow wind-up swing. Which I am getting a lot, for some reason.
Yeah, that's weird. Shouldn't be getting that.
I think I'm just mistiming the swing. Here I'm taking a very specific route that goes around all the guards so they don't spot me. Because without my usual weapons, I don't want them to spot me and chase me. But we open up all the cages, and done. But as we're leaving, the ground opens up and reveals the Benito battleship flying away. Benito used the flight crystal that we've just stole to power up his ship. And we're going straight to the time factory itself to steal one of their big crystal pieces. Now I'm going to try do a very difficult trick here. It might not work, but we'll see. No, miss it. I'll give it one more try. What I'm trying to do there is another damage boost skip, which, if successful, will get us straight on top of that block there, which is basically right where I need to be for the end of the stage. It's very tight though.
There's one.
No, that didn't work. Alright, well, I'm gonna go do a backup strategy called the fast cycle.
Where'd he go?
Because beforehand, there's one global cycle on the stage, which is a big crane which is moving back and forth between the level. You need to ride across that to get to the last area. And no, I missed it. I jumped too late there. So now I'm non-normal cycle because there's no way I'm going to get on that crane in time.
Ah, unfortunate.
Especially if I fall off like that. That's okay, since I'm on normal cycle now, I'm not actually wasting any time. It's very tight to get a fast cycle there, but it's still technically slower than the skip there. Because we have to get up on that wall there, and then crawl across there to get into that hole in the wall over there. And if I'd gotten the damage boost before, that would be right where that little medal you can see over there was. And basically I would have been skipping from the very start to the very end of the stage. Unfortunately, it's very precise and the timing is very strict. And the timing is also very strict for fast cycle, so unfortunately I didn't get it.
It's okay, we get to listen to this epic music.
It's the only stage in the entire game where the tom-toms have different background music. Each world in the first Blinx game, and in each stage in this game, the time sweepers have unique music for each stage. Tom-toms don't. Which is kind of a disappointment, because this is kind of a bopping thing. We just stole one of their big crystal pieces and we're gonna run away with it. Our teammates blast a hole in the wall, they take exception to that, and send some guards after us. Which is the only time, and the only point in the game where we're going to use the decoy space control so they don't follow us. The decoy is just as it is, you leave that on the ground and they'll chase that instead of you. It's also one of the few time controls you can use while carrying a bag, the other being the subspace dive. And boom, we've just stolen a piece of the big crystal. Unfortunately I couldn't get the skip there when I got the other one for the Tom Tom Gangs 4, but yeah, it's not that easy to do. Now we're gonna follow it up with probably the last biggest skip of the run, called the pipe skip. This is shown off in the last run I did in the marathon. I think I found a way to make it a bit more consistent for myself, and I'm also gonna follow up with a bit of a new skip on top of it, because when I did this last marathon, I said that there was a certain, if you did things the wrong way after the skip, you could soft lock the game, which is true, but we actually found a way to kind of navigate around that and get another skip in it, and skip other parts of the next part of the stage. And I'll explain when I get there. First of all, we've got the pipe skip itself. We're going to damage boost up onto that ledge. First of all, we get on top of that block on this box here, and it's going to take a few shots, and we've got a second try. Yes.
Nice. That's always a big worry.
I found that that angle there, kind of the diagonal angle that I shoot at, is actually works a lot of the time. So we push this boulder here, and you're not supposed to do that in this order, Now the game's kind of in a confused state. What it's expecting us to do is go over to where the oil tank is and for it to say, hey, there's a big oil tank here, we can't get behind it to check what's interfering with our TomTom radar. And saying to get it out of the way, you need to destroy oil pipes to drain oil out of the tank so you can push it aside, or find dynamite to blow it up. That's what the first mission is, and that's what the pipe skips. It gets around that, and doesn't let, and it skips having to do that whole first mission, which saves like a good 2 minutes. Now what, it's expecting us to do that, but since we've gotten around that, we're in the mission 2 area, and it's kind of half-loaded everything. Like, all of the items and other assets are here, but the time monsters that are supposed to be here aren't here. As well as a timer for us to flick all of these valves to open up before lava hits that tank there. None of that's happening because it's not mission 2 yet. Those flags haven't been hit. But we're setting them up to be. Because when we get to it, we're going to trigger some of the flags in a certain order. It would instantly clear mission 1, then instantly clear mission 2, and get us up on the right side of this barrier right here to allow us to quickly complete mission 3. Now, I just need to hook the wall here, and yeah. Okay, not soft locked, that's good.
Nice.
Because if I stepped in the wrong spot, that will have soft locked the game. Because then it said, oh hey, we need to get rid of the tank, but then it instantly recognizes, wait, you've already pushed the boulder, so that's mission 1 done. So it will skip all of that. And now, it's playing the intro for mission 2. And so, it's playing those cutscenes and saying, hey, now that we've got the location of the big crystal, let's blow up this place, open up all the valves. And there's one last flag. You need to jump in and out, and that's it. Oh, they flicked that. It's playing all the cutscenes in quick succession because it's realized, oh yeah, you've done that. Oh, you flipped one valve, which triggers this cutscene. You flicked all the valves, which triggers this cutscene, and bam, that's mission 2 done in quick succession. And because we managed to jump both in and then back out, we're on the other side of that closed door, which gives us the fastest route to get back to the start, because normally you're supposed to get a ride on those oil pumps to get around by a back way to the gold gate. But here, we can just take the route that we used to come in. And that's mission 5 done, mission 3 done, really quick.
Yeah, this was a huge skip when we figured this out, and this was, I think, back when sub 120 wasn't a thing yet. But then,
yeah, I think it might have been Ollie who found it.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Because I wasn't looking in there at all. I was still under the impression, because I encountered it personally, that if you did push the boulder early, it'd just soft lock the game. Because I didn't know the specific steps I needed to take to avoid the soft lock and also get stuff done during it. So that was a big surprise to me, and that was a nice cluster. This could be a true cycle. If the cycle's here. Oh, pretty nice.
That was nice to watch.
Oh, just missed it. That was almost a true cycle.
Ooh, that would have been actually poggers if that happened.
Yeah, those little mini demon onion things, just like the Time Sweepers 2 boss, they are also completely random in their movement. So if you get them all clumped up together, like they did in the first cycle, you can kill them all really quickly, because with a blaster weapon, you can kind of override the damage cap that they have. And it's possible you can get a 2-cycle instead of 3. I almost had it though. At least I got the pipe skip really quick.
Yeah,
That was
good.
a good
job.
stage 5. Now we get to TomTom stage 5.
Time Super stage 5?
Sorry, yes, that's what I meant. I am tired.
That's okay.
We do the last rank up exam. We of course skip.
There we go. The little spinny thingies.
Yeah, centrifugal poles. You sweep up onto them, you get stuck in it, and you can rotate and spin yourself round and round and round, and then let go to let the centrifugal force fling you. Although that's slow to build up speed, you could just do one loop and just go for it. Here, we're in the time oil world where the TomToms were. It's a big old fire because they filled up a big old oil tank and blew it up. So we're gonna put out the fire, so we want to go through the area. Just do a record to open up this door here. Now to put up fires, we need to pick up fire extinguisher bullets and use them on the fires here, or close the oil valves here. We're going to use the bullets to put up the fires. Found out that was a little bit faster than doing the oil pipe valves, because every time you flick the switch for the oil valves, there's a little cutscene of it showing you the valve closing. So if you do it right, you're able to clear this with less cutscenes.
Yeah, it's crazy how we look back on older strategies and then we're like, wait, hold on, maybe this way could be faster after doing it for so long. Like how we used to do the switches instead of the fire.
Yeah.
And the statues too in Time Sweepers 2.
Yeah, that was certainly not faster until the sniping trick was found. That was pretty impressive. So I'm going to climb up here. Camera, please don't kill me.
Oh.
Yes, because beforehand I didn't dare do the fire route because casually I found it a lot harder because I kept hitting myself with the the fire extinguisher bullets. And I just found they weren't as easy to hit, but dang it. Messed up with the camera there.
Oh no.
Now we get the extra slow cannon. I matrix the wrong way. That is unfortunate. I actually gonna.
Oh, that sucks.
I have a retry, but I'm gonna do a checkpoint because the game gets a little weird when you die with a time control and use a retry. It just gets really weird of what it thinks it's doing and what state it will be, especially when using a time control combo. So I'm actually going to take the retry, the restart there instead of the retry. Just so I can get the time control combo properly.
Sucks that it sent you back this far.
Yeah, what can you do?
Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Exactly.
go. See, you didn't get hit this time by the flaming boulder.
Got hit by the fire extinguisher bullet though. I misaimed that. Let's line up the jump properly this time so I can get around it. There we go. Because a really long time, we did not know how to skip past that that turret. It took me a long time to figure it out because... Wait, where did that fire extinguisher bullet go? Vanished.
Yeah, what the hell?
Nah, I only got one of the fires. Jesus. There we go. And yeah, that's mission 1 done. Now, the next trick for mission 2 is a bit tricky, and there's also a checkpoint right in the middle of it, so if I mess it up, I might be a little bit difficult to improvise on the fly. Especially since abusing the checkpoint itself is part of the trick. Basically, I'm going to use a fast forward and a slow combo, and I'm going to use it to get right to the end of the stage.
I always love this skip. It's so cool.
Right, basically, what I said before with the checkpoint is that when you hit a checkpoint, you've got like about 1.5 seconds of invincibility, just to give like the checkpoint a grace period for when it works. We use this to stand on the lava for a brief moment, just so we get enough distance that we can jump to the next area.
Whoa.
But I missed the spot there to jump from. Fortunately though, I was just on the edge enough that I could get here. Just for marathon safety and going first person there. It's never happened to me personally, but Wet Sweaty Legs and Stimmage say that when they're running up that ramp during the combo, the game just hard locks. It's never happened to me personally, but apparently when you're running up that ramp with the fast forward slow combo, they just hard locks the console.
Ooh.
Apparently being in first person avoids that. Now we've got probably the most tenacious boss in the game, Silver Claw. He is the reason why I bought an ammo extension, because he needs a lot of ammo to take down. Which I need 2 shots to get a rewind from him. Now I need to gather up at least 8 bits of ammo. But he destroyed that one.
Surprised you didn't get hit by that shockwave.
Yeah, me too. He destroyed that bit of trash as well, which is annoying. Basically, what to do to defeat this boss is that you need to use a rewind to turn it from day to night, and then hit him constantly when it's down. But you need 8 pieces of trash to do it, because you need to hit him 4 times, and you also need to hit him twice each time to deal damage. There's once to knock him down, and a second to actually deal damage. I'm gonna grab a few extra pieces for security, because the curvature of this arena is very easy to miss. Once, damage there, and repeat. And you can just hit him in the body, you don't have to hit his big green eye. And that's Silver Claw. regardless of RNG, he doesn't actually really have that much RNG. Except for what the ice pillars drop, because they can drop health instead of ammo sometimes. And something you just don't really need that. But anyway, with that, both the Time Sweepers and the Tom-Toms have 4 pieces of the big crystal each. Unfortunately, the goddesses of time themselves aren't happy with this. They're still happy that the big crystal has been broken. And so they're dropping their scissors, which cut time, right on top of the world, which turns into a gigantic demon, which they have to go and beat, which is the final boss of the game. So we're going to be coming up on time soon. Here we go. Now, this fight is split up into 3 different phases. First is that he sends an army of shielded time monsters at you, which I can get in true time control cycles of. What I want to do is I want to pop as many of the time monsters out of their little eggs as possible to get as many on screen, so I am able to actually hit them. Because when you get down to 7 monsters remaining, all of them will automatically pop out of their shell, which means I don't have to run near them. We can clear this phase real quick. Bombs don't work, so we try using the big crystal on him, but he then just nabs the pieces from us, so we need to hit him to get him back. We do, so we fire the bomb to knock a piece loose, instantly put a pause, and fire bombs into those Kerafish, because if we don't kill them quick, they'll eat the big crystal piece that was dropped, and transform into a really annoying monster to fight. And just wasted a lot of time, because they're not stopped by time controls when they do that. So we grab the piece there, and struggling what to do, the Tom-Toms show up with their pieces of the big crystal.
Incoming pirate train.
And then we all get together to fire all the pieces at the same time. Now let's see if I can get the quick kill here before he is, well, supposed to. And time.
Nice.
1 hour, 35 minutes, and 41 seconds.
Not my best work, but still a pretty good run.
Pretty good, pretty good.
That
GG,
was...
man.
Yeah, thank you. Messed up a few things here and there, but I'm still glad that I managed to get the majority of the tricks in the run. I'm very glad that I got the new Tom-Tom Gang 4 skips. I was really not expecting to get that, because that's really just a big crapshoot, honestly. It's very random, and I'm very glad that I got that pretty much the first try. This game has come a really, really long way since I performed this last time. We've got a big handful of new runners, like Chris S97, Bacon Gaiden, Wet Sweaty Legs, yourself, Miku. All of you, including other runners like Stimage as well, they've contributed so much to this game. And they've found so many new tricks. Even stuff just being found just the other day.
Wasn't just a dream.
It's
Time, energy in all
it's
areas
just
is
a brand new,
recovering
almost a
rapidly.
brand new run
The mother
since.
computer is
And
responding.
I'm really glad that I
The
got to show off
engine
the
is back
majority of
online.
it here.
The reboot sequence has started.
You big old brain. Come on, the fun's all over with. Wake up.
Any final words?
Well, I gave out pretty much all my shoutouts already. Last one I'd probably say is to Blinx Corp's Discord. probably one of the chillest places I've ever found for a fan community in all regards. And also just for all speedruns for letting me participate in this marathon. I really appreciate the chance.